Hi everyone, my name's Leanne and welcome to your yoga practice. This is part 3 of a series that I've called Freedom Flow for the Hips. It's level 2-3, so we'll move into some deeper stretches a little quicker. You're very welcome to go at your level, your pace. I'll be working a little gentler as I work with a hamstring kind of injury, so I always encourage you to listen to your body. Let's start by getting situated. Find a comfortable seat to begin. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or keep a steady gaze on the floor. And come into the surroundings around you. Feel the grounding of your legs and your pelvis. As you ground your lower body down, can you sense an upper rising of your body, your upper body and your spine? And quite simply here, we will observe the breath. If an intention for your practice is something that you'd like to set, go ahead and mentally do that now. If you'd like to chant Om, if you'd like to just bring your hands to your heart to honor this time for yourself, this moment to bring presence, nourishment, and healthy movement to your body and your day. Thank you for joining me in this practice. You'll need a blanket if you like that for pigeon. There'll be some deeper variations of pigeon pose in this sequence, and also to prop you upwards, and some blocks if you'd like them. Let's move. Come on onto all fours, but your knees are as wide as your mat, toes touch. Bring your hands a little forward of your shoulders, and as you breathe in, let your pelvis drop, let your chest rise, and breathe in, lift your gaze. As you breathe out, plug your hands into the floor, travel your hips backwards until you find child's pose. About 5 times like this. Inhale, travel hips forward, lift your chest, lift your gaze. As you breathe out, lengthen your spine backwards, let your hips open as you find child's. A few more. Inhale, moving with your breath, front body opens, lift your chest. Breathe out, plug your hands down to find your hips back. Twice more. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time, please. Inhale, travel your hips forward, broad collarbones. Exhale, lengthen way back into child's pose. Find your child's pose and stay there for a moment. Forehead touching the floor or a block. Let your awareness and your breath move into your inner hip creases. We'll travel there quite a lot today. The hips. We'll ask of some deep opening of the legs. If you are working with any kind of injuries, soreness, tightness in your low back, it's always a great idea to slightly bend your knees. But 2 more breaths here where you start to find your breath accessing your back lungs, expanding your outer rib cage as you rest momentarily. And as you're ready to, tuck your toes. Let's lift our hips and come into our first downward facing dog. Get familiar with where your body is at. You might want to bend one leg at a time. I've said this before, for my down dog, I like to bend my knees a little, really travel my sitting bones up high, letting my head release and pressing my hands into the floor so I maximize the length through my spine. Yeah, let's warm it up a little bit. As you breathe in, bounce forward into a plank pose, gaze forward, lift your low navel. As you breathe out, bend your knees, come on back, down dog. 3 more like this. Inhale, plank. Exhale, down dog. Pressing inner thighs apart gently. Twice more. Inhale. Exhale. So I want you to make sure your knees don't knock inwards in your down dog. 1 more time. Plank pose. Down dog. Let's take it a little deeper. As you breathe in, keeping your toes tucked, travel forward to up dog. Broad collarbones, lift your gaze. As you breathe out, bend your knees, down dog. Inhale, up dog. Keeping your pelvis, your legs lifted. Exhale, down dog. Twice more. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Some of these movements and some of the things that I'll be introducing, especially in today's class, come from a style of yoga called Katona Yoga, which I learned when I was in New York. So some of the binds and the circling around our body that we'll be doing today and the variations of pigeon are all versions and variations that I've learned from Katona Yoga. Look forward here and start to slowly walk your feet forward towards the front of your mat. And let's round on up one vertebrae at a time. We'll meet in Tadasana. Take a couple of breaths here, already sensing perhaps some vibrancy to your state of being, some aliveness, your breath a little fuller. And let's warm it up with simple Surya Namaskar A, 2 times. I like my feet about hip distance apart for Tadasana, just to keep my joints stacking, okay? As you breathe in, reach your arms out and up. Breathe out, fold forward, slight bend in the knees might feel good for your body. Breathe in, halfway lift, hands to your shins or hands to the floor, lengthen your spine. Exhale, plant your palms, step back to plank pose. Prepare here with a breath in. As you exhale, your choice to lower all the way or to lower chaturanga. As you breathe in, it's cobra pose or upward facing dog. Breathe out, lower your forehead, tuck your toes. We always meet back in down dog. 4 breaths here. Spread your toes, please. Ground the balls of your feet, including the big toe mound. Look at your knees, watch that they're not knocking inwards. And feel as you really reach up through your hips, the apex of the pose, the sitting bones, you get that maximum length through your spine. Bend your knees, please. Look forward. Walk, step, or hop your legs forward to the front of your mat. Long spine. Inhale. Fold forward. Exhale. Breathe in. Come on up. Reach your arms out and up. Exhale. Tadasana. One more time like that. Breathe in. Arms out and up. Fold forward. Breathe out. Lengthen your spine. Inhale. Plant your palms. Let's go to plank. Feel the strength in your body. Breathe in. As you exhale, you can lower all the way or you can lower chaturanga. We meet in a backward bend, an up dog or a cobra. Broaden your collarbones. Tuck your toes. Press back. Downward facing dog pose. 4 breaths here. Starting to feel that your body is warming up a little. Can you now really concentrate on your upper body? Can you plug the inner knuckles of your hands into the floor, the thumbs, the index fingers? Can you lift from the floor and draw your shoulders away from your ears? 1 more breath here. Let's lift our right leg up, please. Down dog split. Flex your foot. Feel that your hips are pretty even, so there's a gentle drawing downwards to the outer right hip. And reach through the heel of the right leg. Tiger curl to your outer right elbow to step your right foot outside of your right hand. Come to your fingertips. You'll be in a wide, low lunge, okay? So both of my hands are inside of my right foot. As you breathe in, tap your back knee to the floor. Lift your chest, proud chest. Lift your gaze. As you breathe out, start to lengthen your front foot, keeping your spine long. The front leg doesn't have to straighten all the way. 3 more. Inhale. Bend your back knee. Lift your chest. As you exhale, lengthen through your front leg. Priority is length through your spine. 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. 1 more time. In. This time we breathe out and we hold. If you'd like to place blocks, I should have said that earlier, apologies. You can place blocks underneath your hands, okay? Or you can just keep your front leg a little bent. Or if you want to go hardcore, you can flex your front foot. I'd love you to draw your right hip back in space and kind of bring that left hip a little forward to even out the pelvis. Can you shine your heart forward, keep your throat clear, your neck neutral? One more breath here. And then bend into your front leg again. Walk your left hand out a little wider, stay on your fingertips, and come to a wide open lunge. My right arm leans back into diagonal. I'm shining my heart up to the sky, and I'm trying to keep my pelvis pretty neutral. So rather than twisting from my hips, I want you to try to open from your mid-back. One more breath here. Great. Bring both of your hands to the floor, downward facing dog pose for your vinyasa. We shift to plank, inhale. Your choice of lowering all the way or chaturanga. Find your back bend. Keep your legs active and strong. Down dog. 4 breaths. Keep letting the rise and fall of the breath. Keep your mind really steady, really present with what's going on. Let's go left leg up, please. Down dog split. Flex your foot. Gently pour the outer left hip down, keeping the pelvis nice and neutral. And then bring your left knee outside of your left hand to step it into a wide low lunge. Okay? 4 times here. Breathe in, tap your back knee, lift your chest. Breathe out, using blocks if that feels good for you, or not straightening all the way like I am. 3 more. Inhale. Exhale, lift your hips, keeping your spine long. 2 more. Breathe in, tap your back knee, broad collarbones, lift your chest. Exhale, lengthen through your front leg, lengthen your spine. 1 more time. Breathe in and breathe out. Hold here. Your options to stay with a bent front leg, to use blocks, or to flex your front foot. Keep drawing the outer left hip back in space, maintaining that neutral stability with the hips, right? Similar to when we worked with our shoulders. Yes, we want to find freedom, we want to find space, we want to ease the tension, but we also at the right time must maintain stability, right, to protect our bodies. Come back to your low lunge, walk your right hand out a little wider and open up into your twist. Try not to overly sink in the right hip, pelvis stable, and really start to pivot your heart up to the sky. Breathe here. Bring both of your hands to the floor, downward facing dog pose. Plank, inhale. Lower, exhale. Back bend, up dog or cobra, breathe in. Downward facing dog. Find this pose, let your head drop, let your head release. Remembering our intention in this flow series is to find the freedom, right? So to allow for our body to open up, to allow for, as our minds stay with our practice, there is a clearing effect, right? Which is often why we can end the practice feeling like we found a little bit of clarity. Bend your knees, please. Look forward. Make your way forward to the front of your mat. Lengthen your spine. Breathe in. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, we rise. Exhale, Tadasana. Couple of breaths here. Feel your body. Sense what's going on. Okay. Shift your weight into your right leg, please. Lift your left leg up, stalk. Breathe in. Flex your foot. Come into a seated pigeon pose. Breathe out. Back up to stalk. Breathe in, keeping your drishti steady. Work your strength through your core. Breathe out. We land Warrior One pose. You might want to lengthen your stance. So we feel it quite strongly in the hips in Virabhadrasana 1, right? Can you pivot left hip forward, drag right hip back, plunge into your hips, and then ask your ribs to behave. They kind of want to bow out a lot here, right? But can you keep the ribs contained within your torso and really feel that strength and power through your legs? Soften through your shoulders. One more breath. Warrior Two pose, Virabhadrasana 2. 2 times here. Inhale, straighten your front leg, reach your arms up. Exhale, Warrior Two. One more time. In. Exhale. Let's feel this pose, Virabhadrasana 2, for a moment, where there is such a deep external rotation through that front leg, right? So with that, you've got to keep inner and outer foot really plugged into the floor. So try not to roll to the outer edge of that front foot. Plug inner foot and action the rotation from your hips. Tip back here. We reverse, straighten your front leg, relieve that quad for a sec. Your version of Parsvakonasana, side angle. You might have your forearm on the thigh. You might be feeling the length strongly through the left side of your body, or you might want to work straight into a bind, your choice. Because it's a level 2, kind of more 3 class, I want to give you the freedom to move into the depth of your pose as quickly as you'd like to, or stay a little gentler like I am. 2 more breaths here. Alrighty, come on up, straighten your front leg. Come into goddess pose, a deep squat. So your feet are at about 45 degrees. You'll plunge deeply into a squat and then bring your arms up. Inhale. As you exhale, sweep your right arm underneath the left for Garudasana, eagle arms. Inhale, straighten your legs, lift your elbows up. As you exhale, plie, bend your legs, draw your elbows down the midline. One more time. In. Exhale, bend your legs. We're going to stay here with the legs. Can you watch that you're not rolling to the inner edge of your feet? Lift all 10 toes, lift your inner arches, lift your elbows. 3 times here. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Inhale, arch. Exhale, round. Stay low with your hips. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Straighten your legs, parallel your feet. Bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, lift your chest. As you exhale, fold forward for Prasarita. Okay, I'm going to bend my legs quite a lot in this pose. Okay, if you can keep them lengthened, do. Not locking out the backs of the knees though, right? You want to keep a micro bend if your hammies are all good. Breathe in, lift your chest. As you breathe out, let's fold and hold. 5 breaths here. My priority for kind of these forward bends is always for you to maintain length in your spine. Not to get your head to the floor, not to get your nose to your shins, but to safely elongate your spine, okay? So if that means you keep your hands beneath your shoulders, work with that. Roll your body weight a little forward. 1 more breath. Okay, now you're probably going to need to shimmy your feet a little closer so they're a little wider than hip distance, okay? Actually, probably about 2 hip width distance. We're going to swim Katona style. Grab onto your right shin with your left hand first, and then hold on to your left shin with your right hand. I want you to be able to pull away, pull kind of both shins in towards each other. So adjust the distance between your feet so you can comfortably do that. So here's where we swim. Keep pulling left hand into right shin and peel your right arm up to the sky. Your eyes stay on your fingers the whole time as you swim that right arm all the way through to grab your left shin. And then the left arm comes up. Keep your eyes on your fingertips as you swim that left arm through to grab right shin. And then right arm lifts up. See how my spine is lengthened and it's really twisting and rotating with my body. Left arm lifts up. Swim it through. Eyes stay on fingertips until it grabs the right shin. Right arm lifts up. Let's go 2 more times. Swim it through. Peel your left arm up. Travel in and around yourself. 1 more time. Peel your right arm up and swim it through. And then hold here. Hold on to both shins. If you're comfortable doing this, let your head drop. Pull your shins in towards one another, but energetically press your inner thighs away from each other. And let your upper back release. Your legs stretch. I've got a slight bend in my knees here to protect my hammies. Lift all 10 toes for a sec. See that you're using your feet. You're lifting through your arches. 1 more breath here. Good. Bring your hands beneath your shoulders. Take a breather. Inhale, lift. As you exhale, pour it forward. Sweep your right leg up. Down dog split. Tiger curl. Bring your knee to your nose. Again, twice more. Down dog split. Reach your leg up. Tiger curl to your outer left elbow. You might want to slide that leg through. Drop your hip for a second. Feel that IT band stretch. And then if you'd like to move into fallen star, open it up. Bring your left hand to the floor. 1 more time with this leg. Down dog split. Reach it up. Tiger curl to your outer right elbow and step your foot down. Lower your back knee to the floor. Sweep your right arm up and over. So this might be enough for you, yeah? Lean back through your upper body. If it's an option, reach for your back foot and start to find an open twist. So rather than pulling the leg in and closing in, I want you to kick your leg away from you, flex your foot if that's available, actually open your left hand out a little wider to, again, pour your heart open to the ceiling. See if you can find most of the rotation happening through your spine as opposed to your hips. Draw your left shoulder down your back. Lean back into it. 3 breaths here. And then pull that down, that arm through and step back to down dog. Move through your vinyasa, plank pose, chaturanga or lower all the way, plank or up dog, down dog. Whew. Let's take 3 breaths. Feel the fullness of your breath, perhaps accessing parts of your body that were initially more restricted or even blocked. Bend your knees and look forward. Come forward to the front of your mat. You can walk it, you can step it, you can hop it. Long spine, breathe in. Breathe out, exhale. Inhale, come on up to stand. Tadasana, exhale. Settle for a moment. Feel for a moment. Okay. Transition your weight, please, to your left leg. Lift your right leg up to stork pose. Breathe in. Come into seated pigeon. Breathe out, hands to prayer. All the way back up to stork. Breathe in. Float way back to warrior 1. Breathe out. Let's hold Virabhadrasana 1 for a moment, working through our pelvis, working right hip forward, left hip back, lowering the plane of our hips, but keeping our ribs contained. 2 more breaths. Okay, warrior 2. Heel toe that left leg forward a few times. Find your depth
2 times here. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Reach your arms up. Exhale, Virabhadrasana 2. Once more, in. Breathe out. Hold this pose for a moment, feeling the external rotation through that front hip, right? But also grounding outer back foot, keeping that inner hip on the back leg really active. Yeah, you might want to feel that right rib gently peel open so your torso is flushed to the side of your mat. Dip back here. We reverse our triangle, straighten your front leg. Parsvakonasana, extended side angle, left forearm to your left thigh, reaching your right arm up and over. You might stay in this version, or you might want to work into a bind. Work with what feels best for your body, for your shoulders, for your state of being, but still feeling that deep opening through that left hip, right? When I keep this arm raised, I like to imagine so much energy, prana, moving through my top fingertips, grounding from the base of my right leg. Come on up. Turn both of your feet out to goddess pose. So they're out at about 45 degrees. Come into your squat, right? And to avoid the knees knocking inwards, you've got to have the inner and outer feet nicely grounded. Reach your arms up. Breathe in. Left arm swings beneath right. Stretch your elbows up. Lengthen your legs. Breathe in. Plie. Bend your knees. Draw your elbows down. Breathe out. Twice more. In. Exhale. One more time. Breathe in. Breathe out. Stay here with your squat, with this hip opening. Lift your elbows, your eagle arms up. 3 times here. Breathe in, we arch. Exhale, we round. It's a cow pose. Breathe in, we arch. Exhale, we round. Once more, please. Breathe in. Breathe out. Release your Garudasana arms, straighten your legs, parallel your feet, interlace your hands behind your back. Lift your chest, please. Inhale. As you exhale, start to pour your body forward into this pose with your arms bound. Slight bend in your knees if you need to work that way. Keeping your spine long. If you're feeling like your head easily touches the floor, bring your legs closer together. Shift your body weight forward, gently scooping through your low navel. Can we switch the bind of our hands so the other thumb is on top, just for a few breaths as well? I like to even it out through the shoulders, the wrists there. Let your head drop, yeah. Let the clutter drop from the base, from the crown of your head rather. One more breath. And then release your hands to the floor, please. Bring your feet to the distance. You know what the distance is? You want to feel like you've got an equilateral triangle between, so it's a leg's distance. Between your feet is a leg's distance, and you've got the right leg and the left leg. And then you'll grab, let's grab left shin first with right hand, and then right shin. So left arm is on top. My lefts and rights are probably one of my biggest issues in my brain. So it does take a little bit for me to sometimes cue you with left and right. So we're grabbing left shin with right hand, right shin with left hand. We're pulling shins towards one another, but resisting with inner thigh strength. As you pull the left shin in towards you, lift your left arm up, gaze to your fingertips. Swim it over until it grabs right shin. There you lift your right arm. You're kind of leaning back to look at the fingertips. Pour it forward, circle it through. Left arm up. Swimming and looking around and into ourselves. Right arm up. Always, your gaze must stay on your fingertips. Pull away from your leg as you lift the left arm up. Turn and pour it through. Right arm up. Swimming it through. 2 more times, both sides, please. Lift your left arm up. Swim it through. Last time, lift your right arm up. Swim it through. I didn't do too bad with my lefts and rights, but I do feel we've got the same arm on top. So I want you to put your left arm on top, please, of your right. Inhale, look forward. As you exhale, fold and hold. Can you slightly bend your elbows to broaden your shoulder blades away from your spine? Air out your back heart. As you pull the shins towards one another, press your inner legs away from one another, right? So you maintain stability through this opening. Feel your back lungs breathing. Couple more breaths here. Okay, release that. Walk your way all the way to the front of your mat and sweep your left leg up, please. Down dog split. Tiger curl. Bring your knee to your nose. Again, down dog split. Extend back. To your outer right elbow, we tiger curl. Stretch your leg through. Drop the hip for a moment to feel that IT band stretch. Optional is to open it up into fallen star or rock star, as some of you might like to call it. Bring that hand back down one more time. Lifting up, down dog split. Tiger curl to your outer left elbow. Stamp the foot down. Lower your back knee. Walk your right hand out a little wider. Sweep your left arm up and over, right, to reach for your back foot. Or not. You may want to just stay here. If you're grabbing this back foot, flex your foot. Rather than turning down, open your heart to the sky. Kick away from your body. Can you shrug both shoulders down your back? Can you maintain as much stability through your pelvis as possible and feel the energy still streaming out through the crown of your head? 2 more breaths here. Unfurl out of that downward facing dog pose through our vinyasa to neutralize the body. And here, you might like to grab a blanket for your pigeon variations. I've got a rolled up blanket. It might be a bolster. And I'm just going to place it here so I can sit over the blanket, okay? If you don't have a blanket, I will show you ways to keep your pelvis lifted. Okay, so please stretch your right leg back, down dog split. Bring your leg over the blanket and kind of even out your pelvis so you're sitting over it. But in the first variation of pigeon, I'm actually going to use the top of my front foot and my right shin and knee to lift my pelvis. So I have no weight on my blanket anyway. Just want to check that back foot. Can you make sure that that streamlines straight back from your midline? That back foot likes to kind of flare out to the side. So press into the front leg, lift your pelvis up, hold on to your right elbow first, then your left, and shine your front body forward. This might feel a little challenging for your low back, so go slow. Deep breaths. Keep lifting out of your pelvis. When I do this variation, I don't go so deep. I know a lot of us like to open that leg up to a right angle to feel that glute stretch, but to stay upright and lifted, that angle is a little more acute. Inhale, lift your chest. Let's come into regular pigeon. Fold forward. 5 breaths here. You might want to place a block beneath your forehead. I'd love you to steer that right hip back in space, the left hip a little forward. I'd love you to let go for a few breaths. Where can we allow for a little more freedom in our lives? Whether it's in habits that we partake in, whether it's a state of mind. Whether it's an expectation that we have of ourselves, which causes many expectations on others, right? One more breath here. All right, help yourself up a little bit. This is optional. If you want to stay in regular pigeon, stay there. Otherwise, bring your left elbow to your right knee, create a fist, cup that fist with your right hand, press into that fist, and rotate your spine up to the ceiling. Can you lean back so your crown remains along your midline, right? So we're not turning into our twist, we're opening out of it. One more breath. All right, come on. Unravel out of it. Optional vinyasa or just down dog. Step over your blanket, walk it out a little bit. And we're going to work into the left side, so stretch your left leg back. Down dog split. Come on and over your blanket if you have one. Otherwise, you really use that front leg to prop up your hips. I often do it without a blanket, so if you don't have one, that's okay, but you do have to kind of flex this front foot. Use the front shin and knee to lift your pelvis. Hold on to your left elbow first, then your right. Imagine I'm pulling you up from your elbows. So your chest is open. Your vision is forward, is strong. Okay. Release it. Hands to the floor, breathe in, lift your chest. As you breathe out, it's pretty deep. Come on into your regular pigeon. Grab a block if that feels good for you, or stretch your arms forward. Watch that you're leaning evenly into your pelvis. We tend to favor the left hip here. So as you draw the left hip back, can you ground through your right? Can you feel the inner right leg really active so the big toe isn't sickling inwards? And then my cues will end for a moment. And we again remember that idea of freedom, maybe even a permission to seek and to be free. We're hard on ourselves, right? We have a lot of things that we want to get done and we want to be. And sometimes it's the ease that gets us to that desired place. A couple more breaths. Okay, you can stay in your pigeon if that feels better for your body. Otherwise, come on up. Line your right elbow to left knee, create a fist. Press into that fist and spiral open to the sky. Keep your crown streamlining forward. See if you can stay strong through that left hip and you haven't poured over to your right side. A couple more breaths. And then come forward, unravel, swivel your back leg forward. If you've rolled up your blanket, you may want to unroll it. I would like you to have something to sit on for this double pigeon. We're going to go even deeper into our hips. Hooray! So I'd love you to sit up on a blanket, okay? And we're going to combine double pigeon. We are going to combine double pigeon with the swimming that we did in that forward fold, okay? So I've got my left leg underneath. Now, if you don't feel like this, like I'm pretty tight here, right? But I'm gonna do it to show you. But this pose will still work cross-legged. If you're working with cross-legged, make sure your right shin is in front so I can cue you. And I want you to cross at the mid-calf, not at your ankles. What I'm saying for both versions of the pose, your feet must be in line with your knees, okay? And it's almost as if you had a block against your feet. So the outer edges of your feet are pressing downwards. Okay, So, you know what? Can you bring your right leg underneath and your left leg on top or left leg in front? It's a little more open for me. And we're going to lean into the floor, if it's available to you, to grab my right elbow's on the floor and I'm pulling those right toes back, okay? And I'm lifting my left arm up. And I'm swimming over with my left arm. Eye gaze doesn't leave the fingertips. And I hold on to the outer knee. And then I swim my right arm up. And then I swim through, and grab onto those right toes again. Peel left arm up, swim through, hold on to the right knee. And we're swimming. Now, if you're doing this in double pigeon, great. If you're not, you've got your left shin in front, and you're doing the same thing. Right? You're grabbing onto the toes. It's about the hips, as you probably feel, but it's also about that mobility through the spine. We're rotating and we're turning into ourselves. Take 2 more. And then come on up. Place your feet on the floor, hands behind you. Lift into a tabletop for a moment, just to neutralize the back a little. And then sit down onto your bottom. Place your right shin in front this time, right? Or your right shin underneath. Is that the way we went? The opposite to what you just did. Okay, so we're going to fold forward, hold on to... Okay, I think it was left shin under. So this time it's probably your left shin underneath, right shin in front. Let your left elbow rest on the floor, hold onto your left toes and reach your right arm up. And we swim it through. And what you might find in this pose is as you start to take the circles, as you start to swim, there's some kind of magic that happens in the hips and it starts to become a little easier. And your hips, your fold starts to deepen a little. Let's go 2 more times. Reach your right arm up. Gaze follows, swim it through. Left arm up. Gaze follows, swim it through. Come on up. Stretch your legs out in front of you. Lift your hips. Come into tabletop. Yeah. And then lower your hips. Move your blanket out of the way. Come on to, have a block with you, please, and come onto your back. We're going to cool it down just with a couple of variations of inversions with our block. First of all, lift your hips up. Have your block this way on the floor. So I know for supported bridge, you'll often have it on the horizontal. See what it feels like for you to place it on the vertical. Have your feet out as wide as your mat, your hands out nice and wide, so the front body, that front hip crease, can air out a little bit. Swallow a few times as we compress through the throat and all the glands there. The thyroid, we boost our immunity, which I've definitely needed in my house full of young kids in the winter. So swallow a few times. Give yourself moments to understand that there is no effort needed here, that we are held. Enjoy that your diaphragm gets to almost tip upside down here and move freely without any weight on it. Take about 10 more breaths here. Seeing if you can
Relax your throat a little more, your jaw a little more. Allow your legs to be heavy, the hips to feel light, those front hip creases. And then bring your feet in a little, lift your hips up. Place your block on the horizontal, on the flat side, lay it down, and lift your legs up into a supported shoulder stand for about 10 breaths here. Still getting the benefits of an inversion, but again with the support of the blocks, without putting too much pressure on our necks here. Take full breaths, let your diaphragm move freely. And then lift your hips, move your block out of the way. Come on into Shavasana. You may want to use your blankets. You may want to place a bolster beneath your legs. Let your legs splay out wide, your palms open to the ceiling. Close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And trust that these moments of deep rest will nourish your body in ways that it's needing. Trust that this rest that you bring and give to your mind and your emotional state will offer you clarity and freedom and space, exactly how your soul has been calling. And most importantly, just bathe in this rest for a few more minutes. Notice the expansion of your ribs and the rise of your belly as you breathe in. Welcome a softening as you breathe out. At your own pace, a couple more times like this, really tuning into the softening as you breathe out. And take your time as you Bring movement back to your body and make your way up to a comfortable seat. And when you arrive here, bring your hands to prayer. Bring your prayer to your heart. May we find moments and invitations to explore freedom in our days, in our lives. And may that freedom guide us to connecting with others with our open hearts. Namaste. Thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your evening or day or morning wherever you are.